They say that horror is the best genre of film because it's all about suggestion. That when done right, it's not the things that you see, but the things that you don't see that are truly scary. And out of all of the horror movies released each year, there is always something incredibly exciting about watching a good found footage horror movie, because it's not only what's going on screen, but the idea that this could have actually happened to these people makes the experience a lot more terrifying than your average horror movie. And so today, we thought we'd do something a little bit different and bring you a true horror story told in animation based on real events from a haunted house in Spain. So grab yourself a cup of tea or maybe a stiff drink, depending on how easily you re-spooked, and settle yourself in for this spooky tale. So, back in 2019, a family was living in this house, which is located on the outskirts of Madrid. Now, the family had lived here for years without any issues until one day their young son started acting strange. He began claiming that he had new friends, even though he didn't go to school and rarely left his home. The boy would also tell his parents that he liked playing with the broom in the hallway, and they assumed that he was referring to one of his imaginary friends. One night, however, the boy woke up, his parents claiming that he needed to use the toilet. As he got out of bed, he began to levitate. His feet left the ground and he floated down the hallway. Now, initially, they assumed that this was some kind of nightmare that the boy was having. But when he continued to float, they realized that this was very much real. The boy then flew into the kitchen where he continued to rise higher and higher until he was eventually out of sight. His parents followed him into the hallway and were stunned to see him floating down the stairs before ascending to the roof. It was there that the parents saw a large black mass that appeared to be pulling the boy upwards. This is where the parents became concerned that something demonic may be happening. They ran outside to try and get their son back inside the house, but when they opened the door, they found him gone. Their son had disappeared. For some reason, it seemed that their son was being pulled towards the roof of the house, and there was absolutely nothing that they could do to stop it. The next morning, after, of course, not sleeping at all, the couple went to the police and reported their son missing. They explained everything that had happened, but the police did unbelieve them and instead just assumed that the couple's son had simply run away from home. They didn't think that he had been taken by demons. The poor couple then spent the next 6 months searching for their son, handing out flyers and knocking on doors in the hopes that somebody had seen him. But no one had, and they slowly lost hope that they'd ever see him again. Now, unbeknownst to them, their son was very much alive, but he wasn't exactly the same. They said that they'd been waiting for him and that he couldn't leave. The boy was understandably scared, but the other children simply smiled at him and told him that it was time to play. They then led him down an underground tunnel that was hidden beneath the house. A tunnel that the boy's parents had no idea existed. It was there that the boy learned that he was no longer in the physical world. Instead, he was now in a parallel dimension. The children explained that he was now one of them, and he would have to live in this dimension forever. Every night, they would all play together in the tunnels, laughing and screaming, while during the day, they would sleep. Now, you're probably thinking that this sounds like a great premise for a film, and that it is actually a pretty happy ending. After all, the boy doesn't have to spend the rest of his life with a bunch of creepy children who have clearly murdered many people, right? Well, no. Actually. See, after hearing about the disappearance of their son, the boy's parents moved out of the house and never looked back. But one day, some kids who were playing near the house spotted a manhole cover in the street that didn't look right. They lifted it up and looked down the tunnel, and what they found shocked them. They found the boy from the story living in the tunnels. The children immediately called the police and told them what they'd found. When the officers arrived at the house, they searched the property and eventually found the entrance to the tunnels. Beneath the floorboards of the hallway, they went down into the tunnels and were astonished by what they found. The tunnels spanned over a large area, and there were even entire rooms built within them. At the end of one of the hallways, they found the boy sitting in a corner. Either way, he was freed from the tunnels and taken back to the surface, where he could finally get the help that he needed. As for the creepy children that he'd been hanging around with, they were never found. And so it is unknown if they were still lurking around the house waiting for their next victim, Or if they managed to escape through another manhole and are running around the city looking for new friends. Now, we obviously don't know what really happened in this case. There's definitely some parts of the story that make us question the sanity of the parents. Why didn't they call the police right away? Why did they wait 6 months? And why did they move house? It seems like they should have checked to see if their son was in the house before moving out, right? Maybe they just felt so ashamed that their son had seemingly run away from home that they didn't want to tell anybody. Who knows? But whatever the reason, they clearly made the right decision in the end when they did call the cops, because this boy might have ended up dead had they not done so. Now, we aren't entirely sure where this story came from. We couldn't find a news article anywhere online detailing the events. All we know is that it was shared by the Spanish Society of Paranormal Research, and we've linked the video in the description box below if you want to take a look for yourself. But now it's time for you to make your voice heard. What do you think happened in this case? Was it demonic possession, or just a case of a boy going insane and killing some kids before getting stuck in his own imaginary world? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And while you're down there, don't forget to leave a like on the video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. You can also check out our other content, which we have carefully selected just for you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.